Welcome back, everybody, to Colorbar. Betsy Davis, Chief Marketing Officer of Sandy Alexander, joined as always by Kim Opdyke. Welcome.
Hi, Betsy. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
I know. I'm excited about today's conversation.
I know we were talking before we came on that you were educating yourself.
I was educating. I was educating myself. I'm like, I'm going to have to do some homework so I understand a little. I can participate.
Well, listen, our guest today, Chris Minn, joining us from the UAE. So good evening, I should say, to Chris. He's definitely one that will keep us on our toes. He always does. It's one of the things I love the most about him. So I'll do a quick intro and then I'll let Chris introduce himself because I can not do it justice. But CEO and founder of the agency Digital Inc., co-founder of Sheet for Brains, which we have talked about some already on Colorbar, proclaimed print, AI, and tech lover, and another one of my D-Scoop friends and family members, I would say, and just thrilled to have you on here. Chris came up to me right after we kicked off Colorbar and immediately was like, what do I need to do to get on? So finally, finally we've got Chris with us here.
And we're thrilled to have him. It's like, all you had to do was ask. We'd love to have you.
I know.
Love to talk about all things print, AI, tech, and dig in and have that conversation.
We're going to do it.
I know. I love it.
Hello, sir.
Hello, ladies. Betsy, Kim, big fan. Hence why I asked to come on. So I love the show.
We're glad to have you here.
Yes.
We're glad to have you here. So, like I said, I'm going to make you do an introduction. Tell us about yourself and Digital Inc. and start to kind of lay the groundwork for all the things we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. So as you said, fan of tech. I've worked in the web to print space for the last 15 years. Very fortunate to be part of the D-Scoop community in that time and seen a lot of great people, great solutions, and a lot of great events, shall we say. The D-Scoop party is very famous, as we know.
Oh, yes.
But that's an important family, as you mentioned, and it enables us to really develop our passions and our experience and expertise. I've recently moved out to the Middle East, as you highlighted, and I set up a digital marketing agency. I say digital marketing agency because actually the ink is the clue, because print's a big part of what we want to offer in our services. We see the value in print with the tech. We see the two aligned. So fairly new project, going well. The Middle East is also a very exciting area that we're working out of. But let's be honest, our industry is a global industry, so it doesn't matter where we are. You got to get on a flight. You got to get involved, lean in and talk to people. And of course, Sheet for Brains. Yeah, you touched on that. That's a real passion project. Been going now for a couple of years, and it's just growing and growing and growing.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I was saying I was just digging around and checking in on you in preparation for today, and you were all over the place at FESPA. Talk a little bit about that. I think it's interesting. We've had a couple of global guests, but I think for people in the States that we just kind of live in our little bubble. I love seeing what else is happening around the world, and it looked like it was a great event, kind of evangelizing print and in the Middle East.
The thing, Betsy, I mean, I used to be a global marketing director for 10 years. And one of the things we were always looking for, especially being based out of the UK, was which events do we need to be at? Which trade shows do we need to partake in? So you've mentioned, obviously, D-Scoop. That's a huge one. Printing United's another, which you're also familiar. I saw you there, actually. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure and a joy to be on the board already. Yes.
Yeah, great news. So big fan of the Alliance. So that's one, but also we have to look at where communities are investing in the future. So I was fortunate to be involved with a personalization experience in FESPA Global. FESPA predominantly used to be a textile apparel community and event, but SAP used to be, it now really looks after everything from sustainability through to AI. They really are a global force to be reckoned with. And funny enough, I've seen more of that since I've been here in the Middle East, because I'm aware of chapters in Australia. I'm aware of chapters in the Far East. I'm aware of chapters in the UK, or wherever it may be. And I can see all these communities like a mini sort of D-scoop model, if you like, that are looking after one another and growing. So FESPA have been very proactive in the last couple of years on education. It's a big part of what they do, their conference piece. And they have an event out here in Dubai called FESPA Middle East. And the idea is to grow the community, the print community, and to share and knowledge and expertise. And I was invited to speak at the conference about print on demand, web to print. And also I get dragged into the AI conversation. Now, look, just for the record, I'm no AI expert, but I know who is. So I just want to just put that in there straight away.
Well, I'm going to get on to you already, because you're being pretty bold out there in these conversations, and like I would expect you to be. But you've said, stop saying web to print. And you just said it. So I'm gonna call you out. That's a lot of what we
have a swear jar.
But that's a lot of what we want to talk about today, is you being bold in the statement of stop saying web to print. And it's so far beyond that because of where we are today and what marketers are expecting out of us as printers, and
how it's
what
evolved.
what we need to be efficient and productive and automated and all those things. So so why be so bold in this statement?
Well, first and foremost, it's got to get your attention, right?
You did that.
We're all marketeers, right? And one of the things we've always prided ourselves on is being positive disruptors. But I think when we sat down and we looked at the campaign, we had spoken to a lot of print business owners, and we'd really tried to understand what they need. They're predominantly our customer. So actually forget everybody else within the ecosystem, within the industry. Like, what does the print business owner need to do better? And those that are doing well, what can we learn from them to help the others prosper? So, and you guys will resonate with that. So one of the things we had was people would go, especially in North America, people would purchase web to print as we know it and plug in the software, get it going, an old storefront based mentality, template driven business cards, roller banners, whatever it may be, and one system only, and all this very fixed, rigid pre-COVID mindset. And the more and more we spoke to those that were doing well, those that were expanding to a global print operation, and those that had struggled with the same issues over and over again, we started to realize that there was a large part of the industry stuck in a kind of 2019 kind of era, where we'd buy something off the shelf and we'd plug in. And those that were doing very well were talking in terms of software stacks, and their team in the office were now technical. They were embracing technical students from university who could code. They understood about integration. They knew about workflow optimization. They were coming at this with the right technical partners. So they weren't just having a front end system, but they were having, what MIS is going to work with that? What imposition is going to work with that? Are there apps I need to install? All these different things, but they're thinking like a tech operation with the print side of the business as well. So the more we engage, we started to realize that it's called print on demand. And it's because now what we know is the old school printer, they see themselves as manufacturers, or we should see them as manufacturers. They make everything from a mug, a cup, through to a business card, through to t-shirts, apparel, whatever it may be.
Yep.
So it all started from there, Betsy. And actually, we kind of opened a bit of a can of worms there, because the phrase web to print, W2P, whatever you want to call it, also led on to other phrases and acronyms we use in the industry. And actually, I don't think we've sat down with the print business owners for a while, and I think we all need to.
Yeah. Well, one of my next questions for you was, and you said it, you've opened a can of worms. You obviously wanted this to start a conversation. What were your hopes of what that conversation was going to look like, and what has it already started looking like as you've been out there talking about it?
Really interesting. So the moment we put it out there, we knew it was going to upset a few people, but we kind of
positive disruptor. You're a positive disruptor.
Yeah,
That's
sure,
right.
sure. I mean, obviously, there's no malice meant or disrespect meant by it at all, because ultimately we're a marketing agency and we have to prove that we can get your attention, we can raise people's products and services to the top, right? So that really is a very important differentiator for us at Digital Inc. But what we predicted would be that the old mentality, the old mindset would raise their head first and shout loudest, okay? But we then, quietly behind the scenes, we were waiting to see which print businesses came in and reached out to us and said, actually, you've got my attention, I need help with this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we had something like 30 leads in the first day.
Wow.
Bear in mind, yeah, I know. But bear in mind, here's the thing, Kim. Here's the thing, right?
I love it.
It was the first week of January, and most of you lot were still on holiday, out of offices on for the holidays, right? So, so far, the human behaviours, the predictable behaviours, have all lived up to the stereotypes. Now, I'm gonna be even more controversial here. Those that don't like it or want to live in that old kind of terminology, to try and use acronyms and tag people with their old mindset, or aren't open to changing the way we sell the same product, are also those that probably link into our other world in Sheep for Brains, where they're running the industry from a bygone era, or they're approaching it slightly differently. So I think what we're trying to do here is actually poke the bear a little bit to say, look, we need to change language. We need to change our approach. It's not saying it's broken. Far from it. We're saying it's evolved into something bigger.
It's evolved.
But it needs...
The conversation has evolved. I mean, the conversations that we're having with our customers, that we're having,
absolutely,
how we help them drive engagement, just the whole conversation, and how we connect channels to do that, and how the mindset is shifting, and just it's like the evolution of print and moving into its next phase.
Yeah, I mean, one of the notes that I took was, what are we holding? Why are we holding on?
What are we holding on for?
What are we holding on for? We're gonna have to let it go. And I love that you're having this conversation, so more people in our industry can let it go and can embrace where the future is taking us,
and quickly.
I
mean, the future's here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, with AI and automation and all the different things that we're talking about, and I think that Chris is probably going to elaborate on as we continue this conversation. But it's here.
Yeah.
It's
It's here. So one of the things that, from my perspective, it's always about our end customer, and their expectations of us are different as well. And so I know that's what's probably driving a lot of this, is that for us to be successful, we have to deliver what our customers are asking for. So I'll throw it back to you, and just, what are you seeing from the print organizations that you're working with? What are their customers asking for that are different, that are also forcing them to take a different path?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And I think ultimately that's where it's driven to where we are today. So let's take the print business. They're being asked to be more agile. They're being asked to compete and move a lot quicker than they ever have done before. They have to. Now, in terms of the number of orders, there's no problem there, but it's the quantity in those orders. It's the way the job files are going to be received. There's an expectation now, because their customer, the customer's customer, is now expecting many prerequisites of next day delivery. Personalization is no longer an option. It has to be included, and they want to be able to track their orders. So you need tech, you need systems to do that, but you need everything on the factory floor to connect with that system so that everybody knows what's happening. You need good customer service. So what's happening is the print business needs their systems to be spun up quicker, new storefronts for different products created literally on a dime. And where we found there's a real gap is the software's there, the solutions are there right now. Everything we all know in our ecosystems, in our communities, it's there. The vendors do a great job, but it's getting all of it together to talk, but with the one objective in mind: is that press running, and do we know? Can we do more? Can we add more jobs, etc., etc.? So you may want to come onto this, but I'll just quickly mention it now. We saw very quickly a gap with the AI piece. We also saw that the industry was on the cusp of changing, evolving into the next generation. And it's something that obviously D-Scoop have worked very hard on with the academia over the years, which you'll be accustomed to. So we spoke to a very interesting, exciting company called Smart Elephant. And we had a meeting last January in the Middle East. They flew out to Dubai to meet me, and they are all intents and purposes a development house that focus on AI, and actually their approach is sitting down with the business owner and saying, where are the challenges, where are the problems, let's just work the solution around that. So they're not trying to sell them software, they're not trying to sell them anything crazy, they're just trying to fix an issue or a challenge and utilize existing software investment, if you like. So, or other challenges, it could be, communication tools with customers and things. So we found very quickly that a print business needed to move quicker. They wanted to utilize existing software, but also they weren't scared to pay and invest, but also they didn't want to be paying extortionate amounts of money and then waiting very long periods of time. So they were the main drivers, really, Betsy. And once we added Smart Elephant into the partnership, into the mix, we then had the creative, the marketing services, the strategy, the partnerships, and then we had the AI development. Now, I have to just sort of clarify one thing. We've been very fortunate in the world of print to have AI within our software stacks for over 20 years. It's just generative AI is now what's caught everybody's attention, hasn't it? All the imagery, the Sora stuff, that's fun. But we've actually been using artificial intelligence within our workflows for a good 20 years in the print industry. And I think sometimes we forget what intelligence and what we can do that we already have out of the box from existing systems.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting. I'm actually planning to engage with Smart Elephant. We have an AI committee at Sandy Alexander, and there's multiple initiatives that we have going right now where, to your point, all of the systems are smart, but not all the systems are talking to one another.
Right.
And
they're kind of siloed in how to.
Yes, or just how do we make it quicker from our estimating process to our invoicing process, all those things that don't necessarily get felt on the production floor, but that affect us at the end of the day. How do we make some of those processes quicker? So excited to engage with the Smart Elephant and that team to even just kick off some conversations with our groups that are talking about it right now. So it's again, I think that's some of the biggest impact. Like it encourages me whenever you say companies that have been doing API integrations, and I'm like, oh, we're doing that, and we have been doing that for a while. So I'm like, okay, maybe we're not as old school sometimes as it feels. No, but I think
maybe
lot
I'm
of it
hipper
too,
and cutting edge than I thought I was.
I know, but you know what I think it is though is I said this just a moment ago. It's because of our customers, and we say this all the time. Our customers often push us to be better. And I say this all the time, do better, be better. And our customers are forcing us to do that. They're coming and saying, do you have the ability to do this? And have our development teams figuring it out.
Or Betsy, I
have to do this. You have to be able to integrate with this CRM system or this POS system to be able to get the data you need to do the print and feed me back data that I'm going to then do something with. And so we have to figure it out, or they'll go find somebody that will.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, Betsy, the question started off is web to print dead? Well, it's not dead. It's far from it. Okay. But what we're trying to do is not only change language, but we're trying to raise awareness that web to print doesn't sit at the front of the workflow anymore. And I'll give you an example because Kim just said about the future and it's here. Well, one of the things we're working on with Harrison and the guys at the moment is GEO. SEO has been the search service and function that we've had most of our professional lives, but GEO now is going to be the next piece. So we're working on now how we can get print businesses, all of us to be found within ChatGPT, for example, because it's now becoming a search engine tool, right? Now, what that means to this whole kind of web to print is dead, and this evolution of print on demand is there could be, and there probably will be, we're predicting the likes of Shopify will sit at the front of the workflow, because Shopify and Etsy have already drawn a line in the sand and said you'll be able to buy our products or products from these sites through ChatGPT. So if you're now selling your POD products, from your online sites, you're now going to need to find a way of getting them not only found on ChatGPT, but allowing the customer to purchase them through there, right? So this is where we're going. It's the evolution of where we're going. And this is something that we see from a marketing perspective, and 15 years in web to print, we see that we're like, it's all about driving the right people to the storefront, capturing the order without any touch points for the printer, because ultimately, like I said earlier, if there's more orders, but they're a million times one and one times a million, for example, they're not going to have time to deal with one times, 100 business cards. It needs to get on that press, be automated and shipped without anyone touching it. So we need to make sure that people can find them through the likes of ChatGPT. The Shopify plugin does its thing, and then the order moves through the workflow as normal. So there's all these things going around our heads right now that we're planning for. And as I say, a geo service we're about to launch this year, and we're very excited about it because we just feel that the print industry has a lot of creative and innovative prowess, but we're just lacking. And we also have a very strong technical side of our industry as well, but we're trying to bring the two together and then offer that to our customers, the printer, to then have all the tools they need, not only to survive but also thrive.
If somebody wants to learn more about changing the mindset, it's no longer about SEO and no longer about web to print, but now it's about GEO. Where can you learn more about that? Is it agencies like Digital Ink? Is it because I've read about this just a couple of times in the last couple of weeks about how important this is going to be, and so it's got me thinking, just for our Sandy branding and marketing, if that's where people are going, and I'm even doing the same thing, how do we get there, and how do we get there quickly? How can people learn more about that step in the process?
Yeah, so as I say, it's a new service. We're launching it next month in February, but we're offering assessments now. We need to assess the business first. They're free of charge. We want to make sure that we can get inside the business first, understand where the pain points are within the marketing sales workflow of the business, because actually it all depends how you want to be found. There could be other elements that are missing. So we offer that assessment first. If you go to the digitalinc.co, and then there's a free marketing assessment page on there that you can go to, fill out a form, and then we can get in touch. The reason we like to do the assessment is because there's two elements here. There's a creative marketing side of how you're going to be found or how you're going to be perceived, and then there's going to be the technical side where Harrison and his team would come in and actually, okay, what do we need to address now to be found in ChatGPT? Now, I'm going to use ChatGPT as an example because I was working with an OEM, a client of ours, and I just did the search on them. Okay, did a search on them, and I sent the details back to the business owner, and he's like, "Yeah, that's great. That looks brilliant. The only problem is that's our competitor's information under our name." And this is so common because the problem is, the LMMs are still using what they find on the web to index and send that information back to the searcher on, say, ChatGPT, the person searching for that product or service.
Interesting.
So
that's great. It's not us, but that's great.
Good job.
Yeah, it's going to be a big issue, man. But the good news is we've got the solution for it, and we'll be rolling it out this year. And we could definitely help you there, Betsy, at Colorbar with that. So yeah, we can definitely pick up on that. But I think the main thing is really as Kim said, it's here now. So if we're looking at it now, it means it's going to start affecting the printer by the end of this year, by Q4. And these are going to be some of the things we're going to be talking about at FESPA Global, Print United, at the print show in the UK. These are all things that we're going to be discussing with the print owner, because really important. And the other thing to say as well is that what we do now will only evolve, because what we've got to do, and the guys at Smart Elephant, is stay on top of it, because it's going to change week by week
or day by day.
Yeah. One of the things, we all talk about CapEx, and CapEx for most of us means buying a new press.
Yeah.
Buying a new piece of finishing equipment.
Right.
Whatever it is. Dare I say that
that's changed.
Some of the investment needs to be more around the data and the tech and the backbone infrastructure of all of that. So yeah, I think CapEx conversations are going to start looking very different too, and maybe they already are. But
Yeah, I think so. I think you've just said the right thing there. I think as a business owner, if you're looking to potentially have an exit strategy and sell your business in the next 2 or 3 years, and the CapEx data point you just made there, your data and your information systems is going to be your currency. It's going to be where your value is. So I think if you look at your portfolio and like, hey, look, this is what we do, this is what we earn a day, this is what we do at peak. This is what we have on the factory floor. These are the presses we have. This is our software stack, and this is the data we have, and this is what we know about our customers. I think that is where, as a business, you're really setting yourself up for either longevity or exit, depending which way you want to go, right? So, and just on the data point, it's all about.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kim.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying, it's like, but regardless of what direction you want to go, whether you want to grow or you want to exit, that's still your most valuable asset. I mean, outside of your people and things like that. But since we started a little bit earlier in our conversation before we got on the air, but but it is.
Yeah, I mean, Kim, you said it. It's here now.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like the future is here now. So, what does the next 5 years look like? We had Francis McMahon on, and I was asking him the same question. What does he foresee in the next 5 years? What are your thoughts? Because it's, if I just think about what the last year brought and how much different the conversations are, I don't know that my brain can go that far, but I'll have to ask Chat, but yeah.
What do you think my chances are?
Yeah, exactly.
I was part of some really big debates on this last week in Dubai at FESPA Middle East. And first of all, there was some big debates on people and their jobs and losing their jobs and etc. And I think we're past that now. I think it's more a case of you won't lose your job as long as you're reskilling, learning to use it to do your job now. You'll then become more efficient. Just on that point, really quickly as well. We don't talk about the positive use of AI, and we don't talk about the value it adds to the individual, our employees, and the amount of time we get back. Dave Rosendahl, Betsy, from Mindfire.
Yes.
He did something about 18 months ago with an older member of staff, and he invested time into them learning to use AI and feel comfortable with it into their daily practices. And it was a real case study in terms of taking an older member of staff, somebody that's probably looking at retirement, probably who feels disconnected from the modern world, lacks confidence, and he empowered this individual and actually probably, if we're honest, gave them another 10 years of professional work, because they were now gaining an extra day a week through not just understanding the use of AI, but actually being more efficient. So we covered this actually, funny, and we actually spoke about this at FESPA Global last year in Berlin and said, look, let's look at the positives. Let's also look at people with learning difficulties. That gap is now reduced, if you're dyslexia or communicating at a quicker rate, the AI piece helps there as well. And then, as we mentioned off air, it's a global business, right? We work with multiple languages. We've heard from people in Europe who don't speak English as their native language, now operating much quicker because the likes of ChatGPT are helping them get an English version of their content to their English customers out a lot quicker. So that's the positive, and we forget the good stuff, right? But going to the next 5 years, one of the conversations we were part of was robotics. Okay, right. Here's the scenario. I won't mention the OEM, but they have a very nice press running very, very fast. To load the press with the material in question, the substrate in question, they'd have to slow it down because humans cannot load it quick enough, or would not load it correctly. Not purposely. It's just humans. It's just the way it is, right? So you've then got the conundrum. I've invested X into this press. I'm now slowing it down 7-8 times a day to load it, right? If I had a robot that could do it, not only would I not have to slow it down, which then increases productivity by this, but I could actually speed it up. Okay.
Yeah.
And these were the kind of conversations we were having. We were having conversations with using AI from a software point of view, but then also let's not forget about robotics as well, and how AI can help with the robotics piece in terms of loading and doing manual tasks that actually, you know, would be better used. So that's what we were discussing as well. And we've also seen a massive increase in digital signage as well, and digital signage accompanying the print world, and how actually, let's think about these lovely stores, these lovely venues, sporting stadiums. You now would have a massive need for print along with digital signage as well. So again, it's all about evolution, and I see that in the next 5 years, we as an industry will evolve again, and then the actual output of print will become part of an omni-channel approach.
I'm not sure what to say.
No, all I was going to say is
I'm going to process all of that, but
no, I'm here for it. I mean, like the robotics conversation came up a couple of years ago, and some people are using it really effectively and are being very very forward thinking about it. Others, for some reason, are still, I don't know if we think it's going to be cost prohibitive to go there. And you have to sit and kind of do the math about what that's going to look like from a labor perspective. I'm sure the math is easy to.
I've got an answer for that. Can I jump in?
Give it to me.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2023, Graphics Canada, I was part of a collective that had a 20-foot booth. 100-foot booth. And what we wanted to do was build out a live workflow from web to print, that's what we called it then, all the way through to the finishing table and have a product. Now, if you imagine a 100-foot booth, stations around the outside, all the software partners, you'd have the press at the end, and you'd have the finishing table at the other end. So there's 100-foot in the middle lane. Now, all we did was have a robot from a robotics company taking the printed material as it comes off the press and carrying it to the cutting table, the finishing table at the end, right? Up and down, up and down, up and down, all for 3 days throughout the show. Okay, now all this robot would do is literally pick it up, turn it around, and then drive the other end. And if you walked in front of this robot, it would stop. It had sensors. So we tested that, and we had lots of fun with this robot. We even tested if it could carry humans, if we could stand on it. The Captain Jack Sparrow piece in there,
love it.
all of that. Anyway, point I'm going to make here is it costs $5 an hour to run that robot to go up and down that 100-foot factory floor from press to finishing table. So we had print owners coming over to us saying, $5 an hour, that's expensive. I said, is it expensive? Do the math on what you pay somebody to do those kind of labor tasks.
Yes.
Think about the unions. Think about everything else, sick pay. Think about having lunch breaks. Think about all these things, right? It's not expensive.
Having a day off, calling in sick. Yeah,
all of those things.
Keep going. Yeah.
The key is, and it comes back to the same thing where you should do anything, whether it's AI, robotics, is what's the challenge for the business? It's not about using the marketing phrase of AI or software automation. It's what's the choke point in the business. Then go and find the solution. And the solutions are there. We've had them here for years. We're just terrible at understanding and learning about what we can do and what we can't do. We don't actually communicate very well as an industry. And that's something that I see as an outsider. And this comes back to the web to print is dead thing, is because actually we want to talk to the print business owners. So we're picking a language and a method to reach them, and that's what we're trying to do. So it's all about communication. So robotics is very much in the print industry. If you think about what we're saying is printers are manufacturers, you're manufacturing things, you need a manufacturing plant. You need to think about manufacturing on Amazon style mindset, right? And to do that is software and robotics.
Yeah, it makes me excited we're getting ready to kick off our kind of enterprise initiative conversations. So we have them for 2024. They probably are still here with us today. Some of the ones from 2024 we probably still have on our list. But as I think about what we need to be thinking about going into 2026 to 2031, which is wow. Yeah, that was weird just saying 2031. But I want us to put on our initiatives to look at our floor and figure out where can we use robotics. where are all those points in all of our touch points to incorporate AI and to incorporate, I mean, I had a call with our head of tech a couple of weeks ago, very first day back in the office after the holidays. And he was like, Bets, my everything you're going to hear me say this year is about automation. It's all going to, my entire conversations are going to be about automation for sure. Yeah. Hearts out to Rafi. Yeah. So, and I left that call just energized and excited and really hopeful for what we are even going to look like come December
of this year.
Come this time 2027. So yeah.
Let's meet in December and look at your workflow.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So before we wrap, you're going to be out continuing to tell the story and to get people to start thinking differently. Here on Colorbar today, what's that one sentence, one major last thought to leave with all of us listening today that you would want to leave us with as we go into this year?
Yeah, so it's like nothing in print is dying, and there's always these misconceptions: is print dead? And it's a boring message now. And like I said, web to print isn't dead; it's just evolving. So we all need to evolve as businesses. We need to evolve with our services to look after people like you, Betsy. But the key thing is, like what you're doing, you've got to look at are you evolving as a business? It's a volatile world out there. There's so many things that are out of your control. And the more evolution and more investment you have into those systems, the more you can dodge those bullets that are going to come at you, and not just survive, but really look at how you can thrive as well.
We said that yesterday. What do we need to do to thrive in our businesses?
Yes,
we are grateful for minds like yours that are making sure that we're thinking about it differently. And
listen, I'm not an expert, by the way. I just feel passionate about where we're going, and I know the people that we've got the skill sets in our industry. I'm just trying to bring them forward and bring us all together. So
we're surrounded by brilliant minds. We truly are, and when we bring those brilliant minds together, that's when
good things happen.
When good things happen, great things happen.
Great things happen. Actually, extraordinary things. I mean, there's a lot of brilliant minds, and just what we've seen in the year that we've even been doing, Colorbar, and the people that have come on, and just the vision that that Chris has, that other people have. I mean, it's just amazing as far as kind of taking charge and leading the direction, and and like I said, even though the future is here and right now, it evolves every day. Just the amount of just the technology and what's out there and how we use it and how we help our customers use it, and automation for us to be nimble to help people print and create great experiences for their end user, their consumer. I mean, it's all very connected.
Yep, for sure. And when this airs, we're going to be in Denver together, surrounded by some of those brilliant minds I just referenced. So I can't wait for all of us to circle around and have some more chats about this and see what everybody's up to and learn from each other.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what you come back with.
I can't wait to see what I come back with. I come back with. But
no pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, exactly. Chris and I we're gonna have some real chats.
That's right.
Not just at the D-Scoop party, a final night.
Well, I don't know. Evidently, those are pretty good.
They're pretty good. They are pretty good. They're pretty good. We have yeah. We do all right.
You do all
right.
They're
good.
They're good.
Well, listen, I appreciate you staying up and hanging out with us today and sharing. It's just a really smart conversation, and excited to have more of them on Colorbar this year. And thank you for finally coming on and joining and being a part of it.
Thank you for having me, ladies.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
See you soon.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us on Colorbar. Stay tuned. You never know how much smarter we're going to get. Stay tuned and watch out. Thanks, guys.